Hi guys, welcome to ACT Prep Day. Woo! Okay, we're actually gonna have 2 days, but the second day is gonna be just more practicing, okay, than anything else. ACT is coming up pretty fast. It's coming up in a couple days. I know you're super nervous about that. We've actually kind of been preparing for it all year long with our little post tests, right? Depending on how much effort you put into those, you've either got excellent prep or all the way down to none. So, that was a choice you've made. I still have all those, most of them. If you want any of those back, you can ask the sub. I've put them in kind of a little folder. If you want them back to do them again, you can. But what we're going to do today, and a little bit more next time, is talk about ways you can kind of ace the math part, or at least what you'll see in the math part, and then we're going to practice. We're going to practice being in that setting. So, some things to help you prep. You can take notes or not, it's up to you. Every junior, first big key point, is that every junior should prepare to take this at least twice. The ACT is a very large test, a very long test, for those of you who don't know. 5 hours. Really, really long. And it's a long time to just be doing one thing, okay? It's a long time to stress. It's a long time to be testing, but in general, just a long time to be doing one thing. So doing it twice at least is a good way to get an actual accurate score, as opposed to maybe you were just tired. The thing about that is you've probably heard that. You've probably heard how long it is, and you're going to take it at least once. But then a lot of people use that and say, well, I'm just going to kind of blow this one off and just go and see what happens, and then I'm just going to waste this one. That's not a good idea. Not a good idea, okay? You should still prepare for all of them. Prepare for every single one. Best case scenario, you don't have to do it twice because you're really satisfied with your first one. But not doing anything prep-wise on the first one isn't actually taking it. It's just kind of wasting the day. You will find that your next one, when you've actually prepared, is now technically the first time you've ever taken the ACT. And you're going to have the anxiety then, and you're going to have, how do you handle the pressure then? And that's when you're going to start to see who you really are. So if you just blow one off, people tend to use the March one as just kind of a blow off. That's not the same thing, okay? That's not saying, you should blow one off. It's when we say that you should test it out on the first one, that's a good idea, but not completely unprepared. You should still prepare. So that brings me to my next point. Preparation is everything. You will want to prepare for this test as much as humanly possible. We've kind of been preparing, like I said, but if you hopefully by now you've done some sort of prep class. We still have Keller's after school one. He's going to talk about a lot of the things we'll do today, so it's kind of an overlap. But if you haven't been studying, it's never too late. Okay, please make sure you start studying somehow. You may have also heard of the SAT. The SAT is a different type of test used on the East Coast a lot. ACT really wasn't that popular up until about 10 years ago. ACT is much better test, and here's why. Here's my personal opinion why. ACT actually tests your knowledge. It tests your ability to reason. It tests your ability to understand. It tests your ability to be creative. Whereas the SAT just kind of tests how to test. Like, can you test well, is basically what the SAT ever, did. So they've really started moving away from the SAT to the ACT. The ACT is a good test. It is a good test to deduce all of your strengths, not just your student scores. So really, you can be a straight A student and completely fail this test, but you could also be a straight D student and get a really good score, because the test is unique in that it covers so many aspects, and it does it in such a way that it's truly accurate to who you are. Okay, it's not a personality test. That's not what I'm saying. It's definitely not easy. It's not an easy test, but it is school-based. But it's a really good test. Okay, so it's something that you want to prepare for. And if you are a student who struggles in school, that doesn't automatically mean you're gonna get a low ACT score. Okay, it's all about pacing yourself, hence my A students. If you don't pace yourself, you're going to have anxiety attacks, you're going to crash, you're going to burn out and crash. And then it's also about reading the question. If you can read the question and really figure out what it's asking, the question shouldn't take you more than about 30 seconds. So a lot of little things to consider. The next kind of thing I want to talk about is what to prepare for the day before. So everyone likes to study their own way, and that's fine. Study however you want. The day before, though, is a very critical day to any ACT. Okay, it's usually a Friday. It's not in this case. It'll be, I think, a Monday. But do something fun instead of cramming up until the last minute. Okay, study is fine. You can study, but if you just study the day before, you will burn out. It will not stick. It just will not. Fun fact. Even just studying the day before, like studying calmly, will not work. I'm just saying. It's a psychological fact that you need to calm down. You need to calm down, you need to relax, you need to do something fun. Now, if you've done no preparation up to that point, you're probably going to be panicking the day before or the morning before, in which case I say study. Okay, do whatever's going to make you feel good. But if you are truly stressed out and you've been studying for the last 3 weeks, go do something fun with your friends. Okay, go do something fun. Go watch a movie. Go listen to music. Go watch a TV show. Go do something fun that's going to make your brain kind of reset. Okay, study but don't cram. Kind of the same point. Study but don't cram. Do not burn out. Do not spend until 3 in the morning doing anything. Okay, do not cram. Do not burn out. If you go into the test half charged, it's not going to work. Also kind of ropes into sleep. My people who think that 2 hours before an ACT is enough, it is not, okay? You need to go to bed around 9 p.m. max. I don't care if you're actually sleeping at 9 p.m., because most people, don't go to bed at 9 p.m. They go to bed midnight, stuff like that. If you do, then great. Whatever your normal routine is, add an hour to it. Add an hour to your normal sleep routine, because you're going to want it. You need to be fully charged. Even if you're just sitting in your bed, like watching a TV show, you're going to sleep, you're falling asleep, you're reading a book, you're doing something that's calming, and you actually try to get at least 8 hours of sleep. If you don't, you have already so messed up your chances of doing well on this, okay? The other note is, if you're not taking it at Alta, so this is just a note for not this ACT, but any other ones you do, you will want to drive to the center beforehand to make sure you know how long it takes to get there. And then consider traffic, right? Most ACTs are on Saturday, so you shouldn't have a lot of traffic concerns, but if it's 45 minutes away and you try to go exactly 45 minutes beforehand, you're probably not going to get there on time. They will not let you in the building. Alta will not let you through the doors if you are late. So my late people, I don't care if you're used to being late. I don't care if you're my student and you end up in my classroom. You will not be let in the room. You cannot be late to this test. They will not let you take it. Are we clear? Okay. I have this little motto. My mom taught it to me. If you're early, you're actually on time. If you're on time, you're late. And if you're late, you failed. Kind of applies to a lot of things in life. If you are early, then you're actually exactly when you're supposed to be there. If you're on time, you're okay, but you're late. And if you're late, forget it. Go home. Like, you're not going to go. That works with job interviews. It works with lots of things, okay? So if you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. And if you're late, you failed. Cool. So please, please, please map out your route before you get here. And yes, you are having it at Alta, which we will have to deal with our parking lot. Please take that into consideration, okay? Also, one other thing that's not on here, have your supplies. Supplies, people. Okay, you will want to pack up your supplies. I think that's over here. Yeah, there's a little few supplies things. So the day of, you're going to want to leave everything, I'm sorry, not in your class, in your car. You want to leave everything in your car. Absolutely everything. You don't want to bring in your phone. They won't let you bring in your phone. They won't let you bring in snacks. Well, you can have snacks, but they will make you put them on the teacher desk. If you're going to not Alta, you cannot bring a snack. You can't bring watches. You can't bring your wallet. You can't bring your backpack. You can't bring scratch paper. You can't bring a dictionary. You can't bring anything. Just leave it all in the car. All of it. I know some people are like, well, what if someone steals my phone from my car? We have lockers. Okay, you are not allowed to bring your phone into the ACT classroom. You are not allowed to bring your smartwatch into the ACT classroom. Some classes will recommend you bring a watch. You have to be very careful about that. They are not talking about a smartwatch. They are talking about a tiny analog 1955 watch that doesn't beep, doesn't play music, doesn't do anything, it's not even digital. Okay, they are talking about something so you can keep time. At Alta, we have plenty of clocks. You don't need to bring a watch. Okay, you don't need to bring a watch. It just makes it confusing. The only things you should bring are your ID. I wouldn't bring your whole wallet. I'd bring your ID. A license or a school ID, like a laminate school ID, is good. I don't care if I know you. I cannot let you in the room without your ID. Okay, it is a government test. If we do not do this by the book, you do not get a score. Okay, we are not trying to be mean. I don't care if I've known you for 5 years. Okay, if you don't bring your license, then you're going to have a big problem. You're probably going to miss your test. Okay, so you need to bring some form of photo identification. Your ticket, you need to bring your ticket. I have yet to hear back whether we're taking tickets or not, but if you have a ticket, just bring it. Okay, it doesn't hurt. Just print it out and bring it. You should have already found the ACT ticket on the website. Bring pencils, and yes, that is plural. Bring as many as you need to feel comfortable that you never have to sharpen a pencil. Okay, yes, they have to be wooden. The mechanical ones have been up for debate many years. They keep going back and forth. Just play it safe. Take the wooden ones, okay? You can get a box of Ticonderoga pencils for like, I don't know, $3, and they're all pre-sharpened. Okay, so bring that. And then a calculator. Please double check on the ACT website which calculators are approved. The Texas Instrument series, you can take up to an 84 plus. You cannot take anything over that, so no 89s. I'm not sure about the Casio series. You're going to have to want to look that up. So if you have a Casio or any other kind of funky calculator, then you can bring that. If it's anything that doesn't do trig, you're probably safe. If it does trig, you need to check. Okay, we kind of already talked about this, but be early. Be early the day of. I don't care if the test starts at 7 a.m. You be there at 6:45. I don't know when it actually starts. The times always change a little bit, but just get there early, okay? Get your 15 minutes. You're going to want to find a parking space. That way you kind of alleviate whether you're going to be stuck in traffic, right? But if you get there 15 minutes early, you're fine. You can just rest. You can just sit in the hallway until the thing starts, right? Or sit in the room if they let you until the thing starts. But if you get there 15 minutes early, you can also go to the restroom beforehand. You can text your mom real fast. Hey, I made it. Like, I'm going in. I'm going to put my phone in my car. Try not to drink water unless it'll calm you down or you like really are dehydrated, because then you get the awkward moment where 3 hours later you really have to go to the bathroom. So try to avoid eating and drinking right before. There are 2 breaks. You will have time to eat and drink, but you know yourself, like, are you going to end up having to pee during this test? Last minute studying is fine. I recommend not doing whole problems though, so you don't burn out. What I recommend is maybe studying some definitions, looking at a couple problems you got wrong, knowing why, kind of just glancing over stuff. But if you start doing actual problems, you're now adding things your brain has to do before it's even started the test. So last minute studying's okay, but it's kind of like, I don't know if you really want to. You should really kind of focus on relaxing at that point, at calming down and avoiding trying to use tons of mental brain power, okay? Alrighty. The test logistics, just in case you don't know, it is 5 hours long. It's crazy. That is 5 hours of testing time, not including, setup time and getting your bubble sheet time and break time and all that crap. So it's 5 hours. That's 5 times the amount of normal testing times. The testing times, you've got to pace yourself. You've got to deep breathe, okay? You do some meditation exercises and relax, because it's gonna be the long haul, okay? There are 5 tests. There's an English one, it runs 45 minutes. There's the math one, 60 minutes. Then you get a break. Then there's a reading and science, each of which 35 minutes. You get another break. It does say 10. You usually can choose 10 to 15 based off the room. Usually whenever I give it, the room only wants 10 because they just want to be done. And then we come back and do the writing for another hour, okay? With the math one, at least, it's about a minute a problem. So there are 60 problems, 60 minutes. We're going to see with the math one. It's about the same for the rest of them. I'm not going to give you an exact quote for the other ones because we don't focus so much on that in this class. But you can ask your English teacher, your science teacher. They would know what the exact setup was. But yeah, we're shooting about a minute a problem with math. Okay, and that is actually a good thing. It means we're not going to get a lot of really, really long ones. If you're taking a really long time on one problem, you're probably doing it wrong. That's kind of what we're going to talk about next. But that's kind of the logistics of the test itself. When you are finished, you do have to wait for everybody to be done and time to be called before you can leave. Some other questions I usually get: when do I get my score? It takes a while. It takes a while, especially with this amount of juniors. It does not go through the school. Your teachers, your advisory teachers, they're not going to know, okay? It goes through ACT. ACT will notify you when you get your score. Okay, now your scores will be posted to Skyward, but you will know long beforehand what those are. Okay, so let's dive into what kind of a problem on the ACT looks like for math. Here I have a random problem. I pulled it off of one of the practice test from, I think, like a year or two ago. As you can see, it's number 48. So in the figure below, triangle PQR is an isosceles right triangle. It has a ratio. What is the ratio of the hypotenuse to the length of PQ? Heaven forbid, do not read that whole thing. Like, don't spend a bunch of time saying, okay, yes, it is in fact P, Q, and R. Look at that. Isosceles. Let me go in and just draw. No, don't do all that. Okay, start with the question. Oh, jeez. I'm sorry. Okay, there we go. What is the ratio of the hypotenuse to the length of PQ? Okay, and then you look at this, you're like, oh, it's an isosceles triangle. Great. What does that mean? Hey, look at that. That triangle sounds familiar. 1, 1, isosceles? Oh, yeah, 1, 1, root 2. Why? Because we just did a bunch of trig, and that's why. Right? Remember when we did the trig back in the day, and this was a 45, 45, 90? That was a simple fact I had to recall. Could I not recall that? Pythagorean theorem. Definitely help me out. I get 2 is the square root of c. I'm not spending a lot of time writing out each step, right? I'm doing the steps in my head. That's one of the things this test actually tests. How much can you do in your head, right? And so I want to think about, like, I mean, yeah, I'm going to be a little nervous if I make a mistake in my head. If I know I'm going to make a mistake that way, I'm definitely going to write stuff down, but I'm not going to spend ample amount of time writing every little piece out. It's different than a regular test. I want to go fast. All right, so what is the ratio now of PQ to the hypotenuse? Root 2 to 1. Done. Moving on. Not going to second guess myself. Not going to wonder why that one looks rationalized. Not going to wonder where root 3 came from. I'm going to trust my gut and I'm going to move on. Do you want to know why? Because if you try second guessing yourself, you're going to end up second yourself a lot. Second guessing each of the 60 problems is going to cost you another hour. Okay, so don't do that. But that's honestly about the caliber. That is the caliber of problem you will see. There's not a lot of dissection here. Are some going to be harder to recall formulas? Yeah. Are some going to be a little trickier? Yeah. We're going to practice in just a minute with your own practice test. But that's it. That's the speed with which they should go. Now, obviously, that one was only about 15 seconds. So a minute per problem. But that's what we're shooting for. Okay. Alrighty, your turn. Here's what we're going to do. You are going to get a practice test. The sub is going to pass out practice test number 1. Do not start until you are told to do so. Do not even look at it until you're told to do so. All you need to do is get a pencil, a calculator, and put absolutely everything else under your desk. Okay? If you have a smartwatch on, take it off. Okay? If you have your phone in your pocket, take it out. Set yourself up to be in the ACT practice mode. Okay, or not practice mode, ACT mode. ACT mode. I'm going to go ahead and turn on a video that is actually a 60-minute countdown. You get 60 minutes for the math test. This video starts off with a countdown of itself, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then it starts the timer. Excuse me. Do not talk. Don't talk during the test. Take this very seriously. Go through your 60. If you are finished, do not get out your phone. Do not get out a book. Do not get out practice paper. Do not doodle. Do not do anything for the remainder of the time. We're going to talk about why a little later after the test, but right now, just don't do anything if you happen to finish early. The only things you're allowed to do are put your head down and check your answers. Okay? Should time be called, do not try to fill in more bubbles. This is a huge issue. You fill in more bubbles outside the test time. If you're on test 2, you go to test 1, you fill in bubbles, your entire test will be void. The fact that you didn't finish is something within itself about ACT. It's not designed to be finished. It's not designed so that every single bubble gets filled in every single time. But if you force that, you will be asked to leave. You will be kicked out. It will be cheating and your test will not be scored. Okay, so that's really important. It's the number one reason people get voided tests. They don't think that it's a big deal, and then they get kicked out. Okay. All right, so I'm going to turn over to the countdown now. We're going to do a 5 countdown, and then you're going to be ready. Go ahead and pause the video until you are actually ready to start this test. Okay, yes, this is a YouTube video, so you should have your practice test in front of you. You should have a wooden pencil and a calculator, and that is it. All right. That's going to count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The second it hits 1, you may begin. Okay, the sub will call out when there are 5 minutes left. You do not have to stare at the screen and look up constantly. He or she will just call out when you have 5 minutes left, and then the timer will go off when it is finished. Do not keep working after it is finished. Good luck. All right, put your pencils down. You are now finished with the practice test. All right, so that was about an hour. That was exactly an hour, actually. You got to see kind of the timing on that. Let's kind of talk about some scoring and some final thoughts before we finish out today. So there is an answer sheet provided. Go ahead and turn it or pass it out or turn it over, depending on how they've set it up. You're going to score yourself, give yourself a score. It's a raw score. The converting to an ACT score we'll kind of talk about next time, or just have you read about it. It's in the homework. And then, so go ahead and turn in this practice test. This is not going to be the thing you take home, so go ahead and turn it in. I'm hoping that we can get it signed and get it back to you before the end of the day, but since this was a 60-minute idea, chances are it's run into a lot of our class time, so if we don't quite give it back today, that's okay. We'll just sign it and turn it in. We'll give it back next time. But you know your score. Some things to notice as the test was going on. There were probably some small distracting sounds, tapping pencils, the click of the clock, right? There's a lot of things that are going to be distracting. Now, at our school, we're going to have, let's be honest, some bigger things like construction work outside. So there's going to be some loud, distracting sounds no matter what. It's not going to be the silence that was this room. You've got to find a way to control your anxiety. So as the test went on, did you feel anxious? Did you feel like that was so much time? Did you start to burn out? Anxiety comes in two formats, though. It comes in panic, but it also comes in boredom. So you start to feel like you're just done and you can't do this anymore and there's just no way. It's like almost a depressing, not depression, but depressing idea. And then that's also called burnout, right? You just get burned out and you're like, I don't want to take this test anymore, I'm done, whatever. When this test decides basically the rest of your life, you cannot get burned out either way. You can't panic yourself into a corner and you can't get lazy, for lack of a better word, or you can't burn out. Like, you can't just get tired. So you got to find a way to kind of control those, kind of think about yourself and what you can do. Stretching is a great idea. Yawning is a good thing because it gets blood flow back to your brain. You can't stand up, not allowed to do that. You don't want to be the guy that's distracting everybody else. You probably don't want to like click your pencil a bunch of times. But if you need to, just like stretch your back, yawn, kind of shake out the head, and that should kind of bring you back. Anxiety is a whole other story. The other side of this, the panicky version, you just got to find ways to bring yourself down. You got to take some deep breaths. You'd be surprised. Most of the issues with anxiety can be controlled temporarily through deep breathing. That's all you need, deep breathing. It's all you're really allowed to do, so that's really all we kind of have. Timing of your own thoughts is something that you needed to control. Did you actually think about a minute a problem, or were you taking extra time? Were you taking too little time? Because if you're taking too little time, maybe you're not doing them right? Did you get a low score because you weren't thinking about it too much? Kind of judge your own timing of your thoughts and then try to shoot it within a minute, right? See if you can get it down to about a minute per problem. If you can't, then you're going to have to figure out how to get them all right. The ones you do get right, you can get a higher score. Yes, the ones you don't answer will count against you, but it's better than trying to rush through and getting all of them wrong as opposed to not being able to answer the last 5, right, and getting all the other ones right. All right, what do you do after? This one's key. We are used to a situation where afterwards we can go back to our normal lives. That is not the case here. We cannot do anything afterwards. You do not want to give any reason for your proctor to think you are cheating in any way, shape, or form. Obviously, things like pulling out your cell phone, not okay, right? Checking your watch, your smartwatch, not okay. You shouldn't even have those on you. You can't take out a book. Okay, there's no reading after the test. There's no doodling after the test. You're not allowed to draw on anything. You can't bring scratch paper, so you can't doodle. Really, the only option is to kind of go to bed. And honestly, it's kind of the best option. Putting your head down and going to sleep after the test can, first off, it's very obvious to your proctor that you are not doing anything else. You are not looking at anybody else's papers. You're not trying to fill in bubbles. You're dead to the world, basically. Very nice for us proctors. We don't have to worry about you. So that's always a good thing. The flip side of that is, though, you actually get a recharge, right? You have 5 tests to take. You take the first one, you're already tired. Definitely go down, put your head down, take a small nap. Now, you don't have to actually fall asleep, but just the act of not doing anything or thinking for a couple minutes can actually reset you too. So especially after the math one, right before you go to break, take a nap, bro. You have 3 more tests to take. You have some time that you still need to be doing this, so take a nap. It's probably the best thing you can do. Definitely do not go back and fill in bubbles. For this, I mean, like, you just finished the math one. Oh, but English, I didn't finish 5. Let me just go back and sneak, right? Then you're going to get kicked out, okay? You turn around and you kind of just glance at other people's paper. Even you're like, oh, am I the first one done? You do the kind of side glance, instantly kicked out of the room, okay? Anything that looks like cheating, they have to consider it is. This is a national test. This is not Mrs. Kennedy giving you a math test. Oh, Mrs. Kennedy is so mean. If someone in New York questions what happens in your classroom, we have to tell them that we acted with fidelity. Otherwise, no one gets a score. Okay, we have to say that, oh, well, it kind of looked like she was cheating, so she was cheating. Sorry. Like, if it looks at all, don't give them any reason to even consider that you might be cheating. Okay, so just put your head down and go to sleep. Right? Don't do it during the test. Don't do it after the test. That's kind of my big final sum up. So what are we going to do now? Your homework tonight. The same exact video is on Canvas, so you can fast forward to the hour part. You can go over this stuff again. If you think of anything that I didn't say, you'd be shoot me an email. That'd be awesome. But there is another practice test you're going to get. You can go home, turn on this video. You're welcome to use your own hour-long timer. You can just got it off of YouTube. It's not really the big deal. But if you just wanted to use this one so you know you had the same one, it is posted to your Canvas. Then you're going to do practice test 2. You're going to score yourself. What's different about your homework versus in class is also attached to that practice test is an actual explanation of all of the math concepts. So you have a little mini baby tutor right there for you. So if you didn't get one right, you can read over why. This is due next class. It will not, your score on the practice test will not be your homework score. So if you get like 19 out of 60, that's not your homework score. Okay, it's just going to be completion as always. But that is something to know. Getting 19 out of 60 4 days before the ACT is probably not a good thing. So you definitely want to go read those explanations, kind of see what you do. Next time we're going to do another practice one. We're going to get lots of practice. As many people have mentioned, you want to take the ACT twice so you get comfortable with it. Our idea is let's do a bunch of practice tests so we're comfortable with it, right? This is the same exact format you're going to see on the ACT, so you don't have to worry about that. We're going to do more next time. I think that's about it. So have a lovely day, and I'll see you in the next video.